Are Seven by William Wordsworth. Okay, so it's saying, like, let's go from the title, We Are Seven. Like, it's saying, like, there's obviously more than one person in the poem that they're talking about.
It could, like, represent, like, the humanity and stuff, like, all of us.
Yeah, like, so. Yeah, that's true. And then 7 has a couple different meanings. The number 7 is actually, like, said to be, like, like a divine number, or, like, the perfect number. It's, like, the perfect number in the Bible. And it's like the Sabbath day, the day, like, God rest. And
Sunday church day.
Yeah, exactly. And then it's also the number of sacraments, so it kind of relates to religion.
A lot of religious
And
stuff.
so the first stanza, it kind of talks about like a child, just like a young, like innocent child, and how it like lightly draws its breath, like there's
like it kind of like that rebirth, like when you're first born, like your first breath, like it's light and it's
light, yeah,
childlike and it's innocent.
And like it feels life in every limb, like it's full of youth and like has no like problems. And it's saying, like, what should it know of death? Like, it shouldn't know anything of death because
like,
it just
could have just born. Yeah.
And so then the second stanza, like, the first stanza is kind of like, I don't know, I feel like it could be, like, written at the end of the poem. It's, like, kind of like a reflection on it.
Kind of like a foresight.
Yeah,
if not foresight.
Foreshadowing.
Foreshadowing.
Yes. So then the second stanza, like, kind of starts the poem, and it's saying, like, how Wordsworth, like, met this little girl. She was, like, young. She was really young. She was 8 years old. And, like, her hair was thick with, like, curls. So, like, she doesn't have, like, ordinary, like, pin straight hair. Like, she's unique and different. And obviously, like, something about her is, like, attracting Wordsworth. And so, she, like, he said, like, she had, like, a rustic woodland air. So, like, back then it kind of means, like, she's just, like, an ordinary girl, like, kind of in the lower class. And yet, like, he's still, like, attracted to her. Like, she dressed strange, and her eyes were very fair.
And it kind of gave her that, like, naturalistic feel, because it's, like, woodland and stuff, so it's, like, she's completely natural. Like, she's not, like, covered up and
like,
fake.
Kind of like the innocent thing. Like, yeah. And so her eyes were fair, and that can mean, like, two different things. Like, her eyes were, like, they told the truth, kind of. Like, she didn't tell lies, because usually kids don't tell lies. And, or it can mean, like, her eyes were very light-colored, so, like, pure. And then it goes on to say, like, it starts off kind of like an interview, like...
Well, wait. Sorry.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
The last line of that stanza, it has, like, the dashes, and then it's, like, her beauty made me glad, so it's kind of like she's taking in all about her. I mean, he's taking in, like, everything about her, like, and her beauty made me glad. Like, you know, it's kind of like that dramatic pause.
Yeah, like, he's taking it all in. Exactly.
Okay, sorry.
No, you're good. No, you're good. And then it starts off like an interview, and it's kind of like he's asking how many, like, siblings the little girl has. And she says, like, 7 in all, so I guess there's 7 siblings, that's what we think. And then it goes on to say, like, Wordsworth wants to know where they are, and she answers, 7 are we again. So now it's kind of like, okay,
kind of like the repetition of 7 in Afra.
And so then she goes on to say, like, 2 of them live in a city of Conway, which is in Wales, which I believe is where Wordsworth lived. So, I don't know. And then 2 are gone to sea, so, like, 2 are at sea, so that's 4 of them. And then she says 2 of them are in the churchyard, and they lie in the churchyard, so, like, yeah, we get a sense of them, like, they're dead, but Wordsworth uses, like, the word lie instead of dead, so it can mean, like, they're dead, but, like, to her, they're just, like, sleeping.
Yeah, kind of like a really childish innocence when children, like, you know, when you talk to a child about someone dying, you don't say, oh, you know, they died. Or they don't understand that. You say, you know, they went to bed or something.
Right, like exactly. And so, and as you can see, like, she's counting the 2 dead ones as, like, part of her family still. And then she, like, lives with her mother. And so Wordsworth, like, gets confused in the next stanza. He's like, but you say, like, 2 live in a city and 2 are at sea, yet there's 7 of you. Like, how can this be? And so then, like, the little girl replies, like, back really quickly because she knows the answer. Like, 7 boys and girls are we. So, like, she's just trying to, like, get her point across. Like, she knows she's right.
Yeah.
And so then she says, like, 2 of them lie in the churchyard, so they're dead, but, like, they're not forgotten. And then Wordsworth is kind of like, you're crazy, like, you run about, little maid, like, she's just young, like, she doesn't know much.
Innocent. Naive.
And he's saying, like, if two lie in the churchyard, then there's only 5 of you. And she, like, responds back by saying, oh, like, no, like, their graves are green. And green kind of represents, like, growth and stuff.
And, like, liveliness. You know, usually when you think of a graveyard, you might think of, like, a bunch of, like, dead stuff everywhere. But, you know, she's like, no, it's, like, all alive. So they must be alive.
Exactly. And then, and so they live, like, really close to their house. It's saying, like, 12 steps from the house. So the grave is, like, right outside their house. And they lie side by side.
So
and then,
they're together still. So it's kind of like, you know, they're together. They're still, you know, kicking, living.
And then it's saying how the little girl, like, goes there and she knits there and she eats there and she sings to them there and stuff. So it's like, and she plays around the grave with them as if, like, they're still alive.
Yeah, they're still there. They're still, like, watching her have fun and having fun with her and stuff.
And then she says, like, she was talking about, like, one of the siblings that was dead, her sister, Jane, and how she, like, died from sickness, and she says, till God released her of her pain, so that just, like, that portrays her religious values, so she's, like, religious, she believes in God and afterlife and stuff.
And it's also, like, again, another innocent way of, like, saying she died, like, you know, released her of her pain, and saying, you know, she died, like, in pain, and stuff like that, you know, released her of that.
And so then, okay.
Last page.
Yes. And then, so she's saying, like, in the next stanza, she's like, when the grass was dry, so that kind of represents, like, summer. Like, they would go around and play around the graves, my brother John and I. And so, so it uses summer, and then it goes on to the next stanza and describes even, like, when it was winter, when the ground was white with snow, she would still be, like, by the grave, like, all year. And then she says, like, in the winter, her brother John was forced to go. And winter's kind of like a time of death, so it kind of, like, winter foreshadows the death of someone. Mm-hmm. And I guess that was her brother. And so then...
and, like, lies by her side. So, like, again, like, you know, it didn't, like, you know, we buried him, you know, lied him down and stuff.
And then, so now, like, Wordsworth is, like, still, like, so confused why she doesn't understand that there's only 5 in her family. And he's like, how many of them are you? And she's, if 2 are in heaven. And then, like, the little girl still says, we are 7. So it just proves again that, like, because of her innocence, like, she doesn't, like, she knows they're dead. Because she said before, like, they passed away and stuff.
Yeah.
But she doesn't like to see them as dead. So, and then the last stanza is, like, 2 lines longer than the rest of them. And it starts off with Wordsworth saying, but they are dead, those 2 are dead. And it has, like, an exclamation point. So it's, like...
You know, he's kind of, like, enforcing her to, like, you know, realize, like, they're dead. Like,
they're dead, yeah. And he's saying this, and he doesn't really know why he's saying this, because, like, it doesn't make a difference. Like, she's still going to say there's 7. Mm-hmm. And so, like, the poem, like, ends on them, like, they don't ever, like, understand each other or see each other's side. Like, he obviously had different, like, religious and moral, like, afterlife values of the dead, so I guess, like, in his point of view, like, adults see, like, the deceased as different than, like,
dead. Like, and
child.
She saw them as, like, you know, they're still alive in, like, her heart and stuff, and, like, to her, you know, they're in heaven alive, so, you know, technically they're still alive, but to him, they're like, no, they're dead on earth, so therefore they're dead.
Yeah, so basically, all in all, it's kind of like a child's, like, innocence and how they have different mindsets than adults.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.